Hello everyone, welcome back to ABC Learning English. My name is Adam.
And my name is Eva. We are so happy you are here with us today.
How are you doing today, Eva?
I am doing great, Adam. I am very excited about today's lesson. We have a very interesting topic.
Yes, we do. Before we start, I want to share something. Our good friend Hoan often says something very smart. He says we need things to be strong and work for a long time, like a good, strong car. We do not need things just to look beautiful on the outside.
Oh, wow. Yes, Hoan is totally right. That is a very smart idea.
Exactly. And our minds are the same. We need our minds to be strong for a long time. Today, we will talk about how to keep our minds strong when life is very, very hard.
Right. Today, we are talking about stress. Let me spell that. S-T-R-E-S-S, stress.
Everyone feels stress. Sometimes you have stress because there are too many cars on the road. The traffic is bad.
Or maybe you have a big test at school. Or your boss wants you to finish work very fast. That is normal stress.
But today, we are not talking about normal stress. We are talking about very big stress, long stress, the kind of stress that changes your body.
Yes. We want to understand how people survive this big stress. How do people stay strong?
To find the answer, we read many important books and studies. We have 3 main stories today.
First, we will talk about people who take care of sick family members at home.
Second, we will talk about doctors and nurses during big global sicknesses.
And third, we will look at women who live with violent partners. We will see how different groups of women stay strong.
We will also learn a big secret today. Sometimes good advice is actually very bad advice.
Really? Good advice can be bad?
Yes, people always say, just take a deep breath, or go relax. But sometimes this advice makes things worse. We will tell you why.
Wow. I am ready to learn. Let's start.
Let's look at our first story. We will talk about caregivers.
Caregivers. C-A-R-E-G-I-V-E-R-S. Adam, what is a caregiver?
A caregiver is a person who takes care of someone else, but they do not get money for it. It is usually family.
I see. Like a daughter taking care of an old mother.
Right. Or a husband taking care of a sick wife, or parents taking care of a child who needs special help.
How many people do this?
The numbers are very big. Right now, there are 53 million unpaid caregivers in America.
53 million. Wow. That is more than the people in many countries.
Yes, and this job brings a very special kind of stress. We call it caregiver burden.
Burden. B-U-R-D-E-N. A burden is something very heavy that you must carry. Why is it so heavy, Adam?
I will give you an example. Imagine you run a long race. You run a marathon.
Okay, I am running a marathon. That is 42 kilometers. I am very tired.
You are almost at the finish line. You are ready to stop. But then, a person comes to you. They say, "Sorry, you must run 10 more kilometers."
Oh no, I would feel terrible.
Right. You keep running. Then they say, "Sorry, 20 more kilometers." You never stop running. The finish line always moves.
I see. That is a great example. Taking care of a sick family member is like a race that never stops.
Exactly. The stress does not stop. You forget to sleep. You forget to eat well. You only think about the sick person.
Because you love them.
Yes, you love them very much. But your body gets very tired. Over many months and years, your body breaks down.
What happens to their bodies?
They get sick often. They cannot sleep at night, and their bodies make too much cortisol. Cortisol is a chemical in the body. When you have too much, it hurts your heart.
That is very dangerous.
It is. The information also shows that between 40% and 70% of caregivers feel very, very sad. They have depression.
Up to 70%? That is so many people feeling sad just because they are helping their family.
Yes. So, imagine you meet a caregiver. What do you say to help them?
I would say, you work too hard. You should go to the spa, or take a long hot bath, or go to the gym for 2 hours to relax.
Eva, that is exactly the good advice that is actually bad advice.
Really? Why?
If you tell a caregiver to go to the gym for 2 hours, they might get angry at you.
Oh, why?
Because they cannot leave the house. If they go to the gym, who will give medicine to their sick mother? Who will help their mother go to the bathroom?
I understand. A 2-hour gym visit is impossible. They do not have time. When I give that advice, I show them that I do not understand their life.
Exactly. It makes them feel alone.
So, what is the right advice? How can they fix the stress?
We must give them small, easy answers. Answers that fit into their busy day.
Like what?
First, exercise. You do not need a 2-hour gym class. Just 10 minutes is enough. A 10-minute fast walk around the house can make you feel much better.
Oh, I see. Anyone can find 10 minutes. A neighbor can watch the sick mother for just 10 minutes.
Right. Another good answer is short meditation. Just sitting quietly and breathing for a few minutes. This can cut their stress in half.
50% less stress from just a little breathing? That is wonderful.
Yes, but the most important advice is about setting rules. You must know the difference between needs and wants.
Needs and wants. Can you explain that, Adam?
Sure. A need is something important for life. Medicine is a need. Safe food is a need.
And what is a want?
A want is something nice but not important. For example, the sick mother wants you to sit next to her bed for 4 hours. She wants a very special, big dinner.
And because the caregiver loves the mother, they want to do it.
Yes, but they cannot do everything. They must say yes to the medicine and no to the 4 hours of sitting. They must say no to protect their own health.
But saying no to your sick mother makes you feel very bad. It makes you feel guilty.
Exactly. That is why they need systems. A system helps you remember without thinking too much.
What kind of systems?
You can use your phone. Use an app to remember when to give medicine.
Right. Then you do not have to hold it in your tired brain.
You can also share a calendar with your brother or sister. Then they know when the doctor visits are. You do not do it alone.
And what about talking? How should they talk to their family?
This is very important. Do not shout, "You never help me." That just starts a big fight.
I see. What should they say?
Use I sentences. Say, "I feel very tired in the mornings. I need someone to help on Tuesdays."
That is much better. It solves the problem nicely.
Yes, these small rules and systems make the heavy burden a little lighter. Okay, let's look at a different place. Let's leave the house and go to a hospital.
Let's talk about doctors and nurses. They face a lot of stress, right?
Yes, we are going to talk about the biggest stress for a hospital, a global disease outbreak, a pandemic.
Like COVID-19?
Exactly. But not just COVID-19. We are looking at many big sicknesses. SARS in 2003, the Ebola sickness, and COVID-19.
So we have data from almost 20 years.
Yes, we read a massive report. It is called a Cochrane Review.
What does that mean?
It means the researchers did not just do one small test. They collected all the big tests from all over the world. They only kept the best, most careful tests. They wanted to find the best way to help the minds of doctors and nurses.
Oh, I see. So after 20 years of sicknesses, we must know exactly what to do, right? We must have a perfect list to help them.
Ava, this is the biggest surprise. The answer is no.
No? What do you mean?
After looking at thousands of papers, they only found one study with good numbers. Just one.
Only one study in 20 years? Where was it?
It was in a country called Sierra Leone. It was after the Ebola sickness. They tried teaching doctors how to help people's minds, but even that study had problems.
So you are telling me we have no perfect math or numbers to prove how to fix Dr. Burnout?
Right. We do not have a proven magic cure.
Wow, that is crazy. But I think I understand. When a hospital is full of sick people and people are dying quickly, doctors cannot stop to take a test on paper.
Exactly. You cannot do a neat science experiment in a crazy room. So, the researchers changed their plan.
What did they do?
They decided to talk to the workers. They asked them about their lives and their feelings. They wanted to know what stops help and what brings help.
Okay, let's talk about what stops help. What makes things worse?
Again, bad advice makes things worse. Imagine a boss tells very tired nurses, "You must come to a 1-hour class today. The class will teach you how to be happy."
Oh no. The nurses would be so angry. They are too tired for a class.
Yes, it is insulting. It is very rude, especially if those nurses are wearing the same old face mask for a week because the hospital has no new masks.
You cannot teach a person to be happy if they are not safe. Basic safety is the most important need.
Right. The bosses often do not know what the nurses need, and the nurses are too tired to speak. Also, there are no resources. They have no extra masks, no extra time, and no extra doctors to help.
That sounds so hard. Did the researchers find anything good? What brings help?
Yes, the best word is adaptability. Adaptability.
What does adaptability mean?
It means changing things to fit the place you are in. You cannot take a plan from a rich hospital in New York and use it in a small village in Africa.
Ah, I see. The culture is different. The money is different. The tools are different. You must make a new plan for every place.
Exactly. And another great thing is good communication.
Talking to each other?
Yes. When the hospital leaders speak honestly to the workers, it helps a lot. And when the workers are good friends with each other, it acts like a big shield. It protects their minds.
So they need time to talk and share their feelings together.
Right. They do not want a boss to teach them about stress from a book. They want to sit together in a safe room and process the hard day together.
So, Adam, we saw how important culture and place are for doctors. Does culture change how normal people handle stress, too?
Yes, it does. This brings us to our final story. This story is about homes again, but this is about dangerous homes.
You mean homes with violence?
Yes. We looked at a study about intimate partner violence. That means when husbands and wives or boyfriends and girlfriends fight and hurt each other.
That is a terrible situation. The stress must be huge.
It is. The study looked at 369 women. The women came from 3 different groups: African American women, Latina women, and white women.
Why did they look at different groups?
Because they wanted to know if different cultures try to survive stress in different ways. And they looked at how it changed their PTSD.
PTSD. Can you explain that, Adam?
PTSD means post-traumatic stress disorder. It happens after a very bad event. It makes people have bad dreams. They feel scared all the time. They feel numb, which means they feel nothing. Or they try to stay away from people.
Okay. So, how did the women try to survive? How did they cope?
They used 3 ways to cope. First, social support. This means talking to friends or family for help.
Right? That sounds like good advice. Everyone says, talk to a friend.
Second, problem solving. This means taking direct action to stop the fight and fix the problem.
Okay. And the third way?
Third is avoidance. Avoidance means running away from the problem. You do not talk about it. You pretend it is not happening.
I see. Let's look at the first one. Social support. Talking to friends. Did it help the women?
Here is another big surprise. For Latina and white women, talking to friends actually made their stress worse. They felt more scared and jumpy.
Worse? But how? Friends are supposed to help.
Yes, but think about the real world. If a woman tells a friend, "My husband hits me," the friend might not be nice.
What do you mean?
Sometimes the friend says, "Oh, it is not that bad." Or the friend gets angry and says, "Why do you stay with him? You should just leave."
The friend judges the woman. The friend puts the blame on her.
Exactly. In some cultures, it is a secret. People do not talk about fighting at home. So when the woman asks for help, the friends give her a negative reaction.
And that makes the woman feel betrayed. She feels completely alone. That is why the stress gets worse.
Right. The good advice of talking to a friend completely failed here.
Wow, that is very interesting. What about problem solving?
This is where we see a big difference between the groups. The study found that African American women used problem solving and avoidance much more than Latina and white women.
Really? Let's talk about Latina women first. How did they solve problems?
For Latina women, trying to solve the problem actually made their stress go down. It was very helpful.
Why was it helpful for them?
We must look at cultural rules. In this specific group, many of these women lived in very traditional homes. The man is the boss of the house.
I see. The man has the power.
Yes. So imagine the woman tries standard advice. The standard advice is, stand up for yourself, yell back at him, confront him.
But if she does that, the man might get very angry. He might hurt her more. It is physically dangerous.
Exactly. So the women do not do that. They use a different kind of problem solving. They use soft words. They offer a compromise. They do things to calm the man down.
A doctor might say, "You are too weak," but the doctor is wrong. In her dangerous home, her soft words keep her safe. It is a very smart way to survive.
Yes, it brings the violence down, so her stress goes down. It is a brilliant adaptation.
That is amazing. Now, let's talk about African American women. You said they used avoidance a lot. They tried to ignore the problem.
Yes, and the data here is very important. When you try to avoid the problem, the PTSD symptoms get much, much worse.
I think I understand. If you pretend it is not happening, you feel okay for one day, but the problem does not go away.
Right. The fear stays in your brain. You never process the memories, so the fear grows like a monster in the dark.
But why did African American women do this the most? Why did it hurt them the most?
The study connects this to a very strong cultural idea in their community. It is called the strong black woman stereotype.
The strong black woman? That sounds like a good thing. It sounds powerful.
On the outside, it sounds good, but on the inside, it is a very heavy pressure. Society tells these women, you must be strong all the time. You must handle every problem alone. You cannot cry. You cannot show weakness.
Oh, I see. Society says they are not allowed to be victims. They are not allowed to ask for help.
Precisely. So, when terrible violence happens to them at home, they cannot admit it. If they admit they are scared, they break the rule of being a strong woman.
That is heartbreaking. So they hide the pain. They push it down deep inside.
And because they push it down, the trauma gets huge. It makes their long-term mental health very bad.
That is a sad example. Sometimes what culture tells us is good and strong is actually very dangerous for our minds.
We have talked about so much today, Eva. It was a very long journey.
Yes, it was. Let's review. First, we talked about unpaid caregivers, millions of people taking care of family at home.
For them, taking a vacation is impossible. They need small systems, short exercise, and boundaries to survive.
Then, we went to the hospital. Doctors and nurses in a pandemic.
For them, standard stress classes are insulting. They need basic safety, good communication, and plans that fit their specific hospital.
Finally, we talked about women in dangerous relationships.
We learned that talking to friends can sometimes be bad, and we learned that different cultures survive in different ways. Some use soft problem solving to stay safe. Others try to ignore the pain because society tells them to be strong.
So, what is the big lesson for today, Adam?
The big lesson is that there is no magic answer for stress. You cannot put one poster on a wall to fix everyone's burnout.
Right. Generic advice like just relax or take a deep breath is not helpful. Sometimes it is harmful.
You cannot help a person unless you understand their life, their house, and their culture.
I love that. We must understand their world.
Before we go, we want to ask you a question. Please think about this. We learned that asking for help only works if your friends are supportive.
So, how much of your mental health is your job, and how much is the job of your community and friends? It is an interesting question.
Thank you so much for joining us on ABC Learning English. We hope you enjoyed this deep lesson.
Remember to practice your English every day.
Have a great week and keep learning. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Great job today. Remember, small daily progress is the secret to fluency. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.